Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today I am going to discuss the histology of the cerebellum. The cortex of the cerebellum is highly folded. These folds are known as the folia, and each folia is the core of the folia consisting of the white matter. This one is the white matter, and the other part is showing the gray matter, which consists of three layers. So each folium contain a core of white matter covered superficially by gray matter or the cortex. The structure of the cerebellar cortex consists of three layers. First layer, which is lightish blue in color, is known as the external molecular layer. The pinkish one is known as the Purkinje cell layer, while this greenish one is known as the inner granular layer. The first layer, which is known as the external molecular layer, is the superficial thick layer and is usually lightly stained with the eosin. And it is made up of the nerve fibers and few cells. The few cells which are present in this layer are the stellate cells, this one, and the basket cells. These basket cells are present in deeper part, while the granular cells are present superficially. The axons of these basket cells run parallel to the long axis of the folia, and the axons of the basket cell form a collateral around the body of the Purkinje cell and forms the basket. So that's why they are known as the basket cells. The Purkinje layer, which is second layer and pinkish in color in this diagram, the Purkinje cells are the body of the Purkinje cell is the flask shape, and these Purkinje cells are type 1 Golgi cells. The type 1 Golgi cells are those cells which have long axon, while the type 2 are those cells which are having the short axons. So these Purkinje cells are arranged in a single row between the molecular and the inner granular layer. The dendrites of these Purkinje cells pass into the molecular layer and forms the arborization around the folia in a transverse plane of the folia. These dendrites of the Purkinje cells synapse with the axons of the granular cells. This is the granular cells and their axon. They are going to synapse with the axons of the granular cells. These are the dendrites of the Purkinje cell, and this one is the axon of this granule cell. And they also make synapses with the clamping fibers, which are coming from the inferior alveolar nucleus of the medulla. So the arborization, or which consists of the dendrites of the Purkinje cells, they make the synapses with the two cells. One is the granular cells, and then other is the clamping cells coming from the axons of the clamping cells coming from the inferior alveolar nucleus of the medulla. This is the BCQ from this topic. So the axons of the clamping fiber synapse with the dendrites of the Purkinje cells. And the axons of Purkinje cells, this one passes through the granular cells to end in the deeper nuclei of the cerebellum, and the function of the axon of this Purkinje cell is inhibitory. This is another important BCQ. The granular layer, this one, which is light greenish in color, as the name indicates, it consists of the densely packed small granule cells. The axons of the granule cells, this one is this greenish color cell is the granule cell. The axon, this one, of the granule cells passing towards the molecular layer, and they divides in a T-shaped manner. and runs at the right angle of the plane of the dendrites of these Purkinje cells, and also synapse with the dendrites of these Purkinje cells. Apart from the granule cells, this layer consists of the Golgi type 2 cells, which have the small axons. They have these nucleus of this the Golgi type 2 cells have vesicular nucleus. It indicates that they are highly active cells and more cytoplasm. The granule cells receive impulses. This one. The granule cells receive impulses from the efferent mosaic fibers. Where is the mosaic fiber? This yellow color are the mosaic fibers, which are coming from the spinal cord and other parts of the brain. So the granule cells receive impulse from the efferent mosaic fibers, which end as dilated. This you can see. This is the dilated end terminals in the granular layer. So the dendrites of the granule cells, these are the dendrites of the granule cells. And axons of the Golgi cells, these are the axons of the Golgi cells. With the terminals of the mosaic fibers, all three is जगह पे, यहाँ पे. They form a lightly strained area. This area is the lightly strained area. They are known as the glomeruli. जैसे आपने किडनी में पढ़े हैं कि वो ग्लोमेरुलर राउंडेड स्ट्रक्चर्स होते हैं, तो यहाँ से इसका आया डेंड्राइट, इसका और फिर इसका ये जो स्पेस एक राउंडेड सी बन जाती है, इसको हम क्या कहते हैं? ग्लोमेरुलर. सो द मोजे फाइबर्स synapse indirectly with the thousands of the Purkinje cells. क्योंकि कैसे कि मोजे फाइबर्स यहाँ से इनके साथ करेगा, ग्रेनुलर सेल्स के साथ और ये गोल्जी टाइप 2 के साथ, फिर वो उनकी डेंड्राइट्स और एक्सान जाके कहाँ पे साइनेप्स करते हैं? डेंड्राइट्स ऑफ दी Purkinje सेल्स के साथ. तो इस तरीके से ये थाउजेंड्स ऑफ Purkinje सेल्स के साथ कनेक्शन बना लेता है through the granular cells and causes diffuse excitatory influence on many Purkinje cells. Whereas the climbing fibers, where are climbing fibers? These are the climbing fibers. Exert specific influence only one of the, ये देखो इसका एग्जाम एक ही की तरफ जा रहा है, ठीक है, ओनली वन एक ही Purkinje सेल के डेंड्राइट को कवर कर रहा है. तो ये एक ही को एक्टिव करेगा, इन्फ्लुएंस करेगा, ठीक है. तो fibers of climbing fibers exert specific influence only on one Purkinje cell. This is the diagram. In this above layer is known as the external layer, granular layer, and the second layer is known as the Purkinje cell layer, and this one is the inner granular layer. You can see the mosaic fibers. These are the mosaic fibers, and this area is known as the glomeruli. And the mosaic fibers are coming from pons, medulla, and spinal cord, while the climbing fibers are coming from the inferior alveolar nucleus of the medulla. It is very important BCQ. In this diagram, this light in color layer, superficial layer, is known as the granular layer, external granular layer, and these are this superficial, the layer between the external external molecular and the granular layer is known as the Purkinje cell layer. And these granular, there where granules are mostly densely packed, this layer is known as the granular, inner granular layer, and this is the external molecular layer. And this core is the white matter. And this is magnifying picture. And the herborization is present in the molecular layer, external molecular layer. These are the bodies of the Purkinje cells, and their dendrites are going towards the external molecular layer and forming the herborization. While this one is this is the second layer known as the Purkinje layer, and the inner is the inner granular layer, which is densely packed with the granule cells. Thank you. This is all about the histology of the cerebellar cortex.